tell you about Barack. He is one of the smartest people you will ever meet. This race isn't about experience. This race is about us. This race is about what we're ready for in this country. You know, because we all like to talk about change. I know you got folks who like to talk about change, but people don't like change. You got folks who still got plastic on their furniture. You know them. Oh, take it off. Sitting, scratching up their legs, all sweaty and hot. You're just like, Grandma, take the plastic off the couch. No, baby. You don't want to mess up the couch. Folks don't like to change. They like feeling safe, whether it's right or wrong. People like their fear. Fear makes people feel comfortable. Because at least I know I'm afraid of something. Let's guard against the something I'm afraid of. We don't like being pushed outside of our comfort zones. You know it right here on this campus. You know, folks are sitting at different tables, y'all living in different dorms. I was there. Y'all not talking to each other. Taking advantage of the fact that you're in this diverse community. Because sometimes it's easier to hold on to your own stereotypes and misconceptions. It makes you feel justified in your ignorance. That's America. So the challenge for us is, are we ready for change? Real change. Are we ready to move beyond our fear, push outside of our comfort zones, and engage? That means you cannot just sit and be mad. You have to vote. You have to vote. You have to be at the seat of democracy. Because the one thing that is for sure is that just because you're mad and tired and cynical, the game will not stop for you to wait for you to get yourself together. The game keeps going. And when you leave your seat open, somebody else sits right down in it. And they start making decisions about student loans and health care and scholarship support and job security and all these things that you're going to need, your retirement. Who's going to make those decisions? You or the insurance industries? Who's going to make the decisions about health care? You or the prescription drug companies? Who's going to make the decisions about jobs in this country? If you are not there, your voice will not count. And people are okay with that. They are okay with you sitting on the sidelines, because if they can win without you, they keep moving through. But engagement requires work and sacrifice. It is uncomfortable and it is hard and it never stops. You could vote for Barack Saturday, but if you don't stay at the table, and if you aren't there pushing through the general election, and then you aren't pushing your local elected officials wherever you are, when it's time to get a health care bill passed, if you aren't at the seat pushing and watching and holding folks accountable, it still won't matter. Democracy is an active process, and it is forever commitment. And if there is anybody else who tells you otherwise, who lets you believe that you can live in your complacency, then don't trust it. Be suspicious. So we need you guys. We need you guys not just Saturday, but we need you next week, and in a month, and in a year, and in 4, and in 8 years. And we need you to teach these lessons of democracy to your children and pass them on to the elders in your life who don't want to take that plastic off the furniture. We need you to talk to your classmates who are not here and they are in their bed, sleep, don't see a reason why they should get up because they were at the party too long. We need you to be able to push and challenge your own environments. Challenge the stereotypes that you are confronted by every single day and push for change. It is on you. And if that's not enough, the last thing I ask people to do, particularly young people, is to dream. See, because the truth of the matter is, dreaming is where everything begins. Some people say that dreams and hope are just fairy tales. But the truth is that nothing happens without it. And I know firsthand, because trust me, I'm not supposed to be here. Like many of you, all my life, I heard from within and without my own community about what I couldn't do, what wouldn't work. See, when I thought that I would have the nerve to apply to Princeton, I had counselors telling me, your test scores are too low, you'll never be able to make it there. Well, I got in. I graduated with departmental honors, so I didn't understand that. But then I went to apply to Harvard Law School, and there were still more people saying, I'm not sure you're ready for that. You're not quite ready. You might not be able to handle Harvard. Well, I went. I did all right. And I'm certainly not supposed to be standing here, possibly become the next First Lady of the United States of America. One thing you all have to know is that life is a series of people who are telling you what you can't do, what you're not ready for. Every step of the way. If you haven't already heard it, which I can't imagine any of you are sitting here who hasn't heard, no, don't, you wait, you're not good enough, you're not ready. The one thing that has been true all my life is that every time I push beyond other people's limitations of me, the low expectations that folks had about my life, whenever I pushed through my own fear and reached for things I knew I could do and earn my seat at the table that others felt so entitled to, other people who just felt like this was their birthright. And I sat down with those more experienced people. Every single time I looked around and I thought, is this it? Were these the people that were supposed to be better and smarter and more ready than me every single time? What was clear to me is that I was always just as ready, just as prepared, just as worthy to be sitting in those seats as anybody there. Because see, those doubts and fears that people put in your heads, and I don't care what race you are, what gender you are, you've heard it. Those doubts are a lie. It is all in your own heads, your own possibilities. So I had to do a lot of dreaming. And I certainly had to be dreaming to stand here because I didn't want to do this. And I had to think, man, if I lived in a country that would be smart enough to elect a man like Barack Obama, someone with that kind of integrity, with that experience, with that broad-based thinking, I just thought, man. See, because the truth is that there are 1,000 little shining lights out there, young kids just like me, who will have a different vision for themselves. I was at a beauty shop right before coming here. This little 10-year-old girl walked up to me, and she said, ma'am, do you know that if Barack Obama becomes the next president of the United States, that will be historical? And I said, yes, and what will that mean for you? And she said, it will mean that I can be anything that I want in this world.